Welcome back to the future today. Folks, you've seen how the Hive home node acts as your own personal microcell tower, but don't just take my word for it.
Impacted? You vaporized my margins! You people and your cognitive radios! I can't build for spectrum I don't own! I spent 40 years lobbying for monopoly, and you just gave the internet to the users? It's not supposed to work like this! I'm the one who decides who gets bandwidth, me, not some decentralized mesh. It's not fair! I bought a third yacht! Who's gonna pay for the crew? Burn it down! Burn down the reticulum mesh! It's too just! It's too democratic!
Margins. That is the sound of unparalleled savings for our viewers. You heard him, folks. The system is so fair, it brings tears to a sea.
All right, today we're going to go on a pretty wild ride. It starts with something simple, brainstorming the ultimate phone accessory. But stick with me, because by the end, we're talking about a blueprint to replace the entire internet. It's this amazing story of how one little gadget idea can, totally spiral into a revolutionary vision for our whole digital world.
So let's just dive right in with a simple but really powerful question. What if your phone, the device you've got in your pocket right now, didn't just connect to the internet, but could actually build its own, from the ground up, with no cell towers or Wi-Fi routers needed? That's the core idea we're going to be unpacking here.
It all kicked off with a simple thought experiment, just designing the perfect cyberdeck case for an iPhone. And I don't mean just a piece of plastic. We're talking a true hardware upgrade that turns your phone into a legit portable workstation.
The initial wish list was, well, a power user's dream come true. Think about it, a slide-out mechanical keyboard for actual typing, hot swappable batteries so you never run out of juice, and even a slot for a 1 terabyte SSD. I mean, that's perfect for shooting pro-level video without ever worrying about filling up your phone's storage. But this was just the beginning. The ambition was about to get a whole lot bigger.
So the next logical leap was, what good is all this power if you don't have a signal? The idea was to stick a long-range radio right into the case. That would let it communicate directly with other cases, completely bypassing the whole cellular grid.
And how is this possible? Through something called mesh networking. Now, instead of every phone talking to a central tower, the phones talk directly to each other. If your friend is too far away, no problem. Your message just hops through other users in between to get where it's going. You can think of it like a citywide, self-healing network of super advanced walkie-talkies that are sending data instead of your voice.
The first technology they looked at, a radio called LoRa, came with this huge fundamental trade-off. On one hand, its range and ability to punch through buildings is just incredible. We're talking miles. But the speed? Oh, man, it's painfully slow. I don't mean slow Wi-Fi slow. I mean slower than a 90s dial-up modem. Seriously, it's more like a digital telegraph than a broadband pipe.
So what does that really mean in practice? Well, sending text messages or your GPS location is perfect. It's instant. But trying to send even a small black and white image could take a few minutes. And voice calls or streaming video? Forget about it. Absolutely impossible. This massive limitation, well, that became the next big problem that needed a solution. So, the question becomes, how do you get speed without giving up that amazing off-grid range? The answer was to find a totally different kind of radio, one that could give you the best of both worlds and make a true off-grid internet actually feel like, the internet.
And the solution is a technology called Wi-Fi Halo. You can think of it as the Goldilocks option. It works in the same frequency band as LoRa, so it's still great at punching through walls. But it gives you speeds up to 80 megabits per second. All of a sudden, streaming HD video or sending big files, completely off-grid, over a mile away. That's not just a dream. It's possible.
But hey, why stop with just one radio? The next big idea was this mesh torrent concept. It works just like BitTorrent, which splits a big file into little pieces to download from a bunch of people at once. The case could do the same thing, but with multiple radios on different frequencies. It would find people nearby, download different chunks of the file from each one at the same time, and then put it all back together on your phone. The result? A massive speed boost and just incredible reliability.
Okay, so at this point, the ambition is just sky high. We've got a multi-radio, high-speed, off-grid internet device. But technology doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? You have to deal with the laws of physics. And maybe more importantly, you have to deal with the actual law, specifically the FCC.
And this is where a really fascinating legal loophole comes into play. See, the FCC has different rules for portable devices than it does for fixed base stations. Your phone case is limited to very, very low power. But a fixed device, like a base station you mount on your roof, can legally transmit with 40 times the power. And this home base concept, that's the key. That's what unlocks citywide range and turns a personal gadget into actual public infrastructure.
So with this home-based idea as the powerful backbone, the vision just explodes again. It's not about one type of radio anymore. It's about creating a whole stack of different radio technologies where each one plays a specific role to build a complete replacement for the traditional internet we all use.
This all leads to a huge philosophical shift. Instead of using your local mesh network to try and reach some distant server, you use the mesh to host the internet itself. The city, it becomes the server. The data you need isn't in a data center 500 miles away anymore, it's on your neighbor's roof.
This whole vision is structured kind of like a 4-gear transmission. You've got crawler gear, which uses 900 megahertz for this unkillable text and control layer. Then tractor gear uses empty TV broadcast frequencies, that's called TV whitespace, for long-range data syncing. Cruiser gear uses a slice of private 5G spectrum for high-speed access across a neighborhood. And finally, you've got the nitro gear, which acts as the super-fast backbone. And that nitro gear, this is where things get truly wild. Using 60 gigahertz radios, these home bases can link up roof to roof at 10 gigabits per second. I mean, that's faster than most people's home fiber optic connections, but it's all happening wirelessly, through the air, creating a fiber backbone across the whole city. What's so brilliant about this system is how it combines slow and fast tech. It uses that slow, long-range tractor gear, the TV whitespace, to predictively move big files to your local home base overnight. So when you wake up and want that file, you're not pulling it from across the country. Nope, you're pulling it from your own roof at 10 gigabits per second. It basically creates a fiber-fast experience, even in places where fiber could never reach.
Okay, I know, this technology sounds like pure science fiction. But what would it actually look like if you deployed it in the real world? Especially in a place where the existing infrastructure has completely and utterly failed.
Well, to see how it could work, the source material asks us to imagine a near-future scenario. Venezuela's state-run telecom monopoly has collapsed. This creates what they call a greenfield opportunity. Basically, a blank slate to build an internet from scratch, one that's designed for resilience and freedom.
So in this scenario, the technology stack becomes this amazing toolkit for national recovery. That tractor gear, the TV whitespace, punches uncensorable news deep into dense city slums. The crawler gear can run offline digital wallets, letting aid be sent directly to citizens, even with no functioning banks. The network itself becomes the infrastructure, and it's owned by the people who use it. It simultaneously solves problems of access, censorship, and cost, all at once.
In all of this entire journey, it leads back to one final, really provocative question. We all kind of accept that the airwaves are public property, a shared resource for everyone. So, why should the most essential service that travels through that air, the internet itself, be owned and controlled by just a handful of giant corporations? What if it could be owned by us? That's the powerful idea at the very heart of this entire journey.
Look at the counter! We are down to the last 50 units! The legacy internet is crumbling, and you are still paying for it? Stop! This is the everything killer! It replaces your ISP, it replaces the cloud, it replaces your
Enter freedom when you can own the infrastructure. Plug it in, earn the crypto, be the bank. Our operators are standing by, but the old world is not. Do you want to be left in the dark when the spectrum runs out? Do you? Secure your freedom
You
before
can own the infrastructure. This is Freedom Link Base, your personal portable network backbone. Secure your freedom before the stock reaches zero. When the grid goes down, be the only signal left standing.